Welcome in, everybody out there. I hope you had a fantastic Monday night doubleheader like we did, all of us watching, enjoying. We're here in the Geico Outkick studios. It's October, and what does that mean? Well, it's Geico-ween, of course. Don't be spooked by high rates on car insurance. Geico's brewing up spellbinding savings that they're crafting just for you. See how much you could save. Get a quote today at geico.com. You know, every time I do one of these Geico-ween reads, I'm actually just excited the fact that Halloween is not that far away. And my wife is crazy about Halloween. We have got so many decorations all throughout the house. And I've talked about this a little bit on the show, but I'm up so early in the morning moving around the house. It's still pitch black outside. And we have a lot of those like figures that are scary, like skeletons or witches or whatever else. And some of them even are motion sensor. And so I will be coming around the corner and I legitimately, like, my heart almost stopped because I think not that there's necessarily a witch in my house, but just that there's somebody there. And then every now and then they move, and it's doubly terrifying. So I am ready for Halloween to be here. And it seems like, at least as a positive, it seems like most places are going to allow kids to trick or treat, which is at least a positive. I'm sure some of you are listening and you're like, oh, nobody's trick or treating in my state. Nobody's trick. Yeah, most people I think are going to have their kids be able to trick or treat, although who knows what's going on in California. I saw last night like the California has now said, hey, if you're out to eat at a restaurant, you need to put your mask on between bites. And I lose. I mean, all of this is just so ridiculous. But positive. We got to watch Patrick Mahomes play, and we got to watch Aaron Rodgers play in back-to-back Monday Night Football games. And to me, the biggest takeaway in general is that the Kansas City Chiefs have become effectively the New England Patriots. And let me explain what I mean by that. The Chiefs now are deciding when to give full effort like the Patriots did for years and years. You know how the Patriots would kind of slink into September, and then they would slowly move into October, and then by November and December, they were playing at a really high level. I feel like the Chiefs know that they're the best football team in the entirety of the NFL, and when they're going up against a team that they feel like is a legitimate challenger, they come out from the start and try to send a message. And that's what we saw Patrick Mahomes and company do on the road against the Ravens. But as soon as Cam Newton was not playing, it was like the Chiefs really recognized that they had this game in the bag. And I understand that you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. The whole any given Sunday cliche exists for a reason. But there was not a lot of intensity, it didn't seem to me, in this Chiefs game against the Patriots. It felt eerily similar to what we saw against the Chargers. And what I mean by that is Chris Jones didn't play. Do they sit Chris Jones if Cam is playing? I really doubt that. And we all got cheated because Cam is not going to be playing. And by the way, positive for the Patriots. Nobody else has tested positive. They tested all the players again after the game. Nobody's tested positive. And maybe it's going to be a one-man outbreak for the New England Patriots. But unfortunately for the Patriots, it's the most important guy on the entire team that Cam wasn't there. And you really can just go look at what happened in this game. And it felt like there was a big drop-off from Cam to Brian Hoyer to Jarrett Stidham. And in particular, this is a very non-Patriots-like game and performance in general. And there were three different little situations that I flagged as I was watching the game. First of all, Brian Hoyer gets sacked at the end of the first half and cost the Patriots 3 points. They didn't have any timeouts left. He got sacked. He, even when he got sacked, looked like he wasn't sure whether they had any timeouts left. That's a quintessentially un-Patriot-like play. And you could see Belichick was furious. I halfway expected for Belichick to Darth Vader choke Brian Hoyer to death at half, and then they just come back out with Jarrett Stidham, and everybody's like, what happened to Brian Hoyer? and everybody's like, oh, well, Belichick put the hoodie on and he just choked Brian Hoyer to death, like just lifted him up, with his hand and sort of squeezed it like Darth Vader used to. He didn't even need to pick him up himself, right? If you're an old school Star Wars fan, that's kind of the way I picture Belichick and Saban always dealing with teams that they aren't pleased by and players at the half. But so that play happens, which is quintessentially non-normal behavior for the Patriots to be able to do, first of all. Second play that happens, which is just completely not like the Patriots at all, the red zone fumble by Hoyer when he had no chance to make a play there. So Hoyer cost them, at a minimum, 6 points on those two plays. And then finally, Belichick's fed up with Hoyer. He brings in Jarrett Stidham. Stidham throws his first touchdown pass. We think, oh, maybe we're going to have a game after all. And then the Chiefs go up 19-10, and Stidham tries to throw a little pass to Julian Edelman, goes through his hands, gets caught by the Honey Badger. The game's basically over at that point in time. But those are three self-inflicted wounds from the Patriots. The sack at the end of the half that allows the half to run out and cost them 3 points, the red zone fumble, and then the pick six on Julian Edelman. None of those usually happen. And then later you had Jarrett Stidham throw another interception in the end zone. But at that point, the game was already decided, and he was just trying to make a play. To me, all of those plays are quintessential not Patriot-like. Now, one big part of the decision-making first half, the Patriots weren't helped by a disastrous call where they took away a interception from Patrick Mahomes and said basically that his forward progress had stopped. I was watching this game. It was a blown call of an epic magnitude, and a lot of people were wondering why didn't Belichick go out and make the decision to try to challenge it. The reality was Belichick was told that he couldn't challenge it. Some people watching, and certainly it felt that way with Tony Romo and Jim Nantz calling it, it felt like maybe Belichick was frustrated that they had stopped the forward progress, blown the whistle on the interception, and not allowed his player to return it. In reality, Belichick didn't have an opportunity to actually challenge it. But it just felt like a quintessentially non-Patriot performance in general. The end takeaway and the end result is that the Chiefs got to 4-0, and I think the Chiefs are unquestionably the best team in the entirety of the NFL. The other game that went on, Aaron Rodgers just did Aaron Rodgers things. He's got top receivers out, and it doesn't even matter. They break out a brand new star at tight end. This Packer team feels like right now they are the best in the NFC. I thought last night on Monday Night Football, we got an early read on what I think would have to be the favorite for the Super Bowl matchup right now. I think there's a good chance the Chiefs are going to win the AFC, and I think right now there's a very good chance the Packers are going to win the NFC. And if that happens, we'll see them meet in the Super Bowl, and that would be a whale of a matchup. Whether or not Aaron Rodgers ever gets that second Super Bowl, it feels like a long time ago now that they went and drafted Jordan Love. And as we continue to work through, it feels like the Chiefs are the unquestionably best team in the AFC, and it feels like the Packers are the unquestionably best team. Maybe the Seahawks a little bit on the outside looking in. Maybe the Bills a little bit on the outside looking in. But it feels like those are the four best teams in the NFL right now. When we come back, Jason Whitlock is going to join us. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us. This is Outkick on Fox Sports Radio.